We thought we'd already seen the best of Lake Garda along its southern shores in our last video, and then we made it to the northern shore. Over the next few days, we're exploring medieval castles, tasting local wines, riding cable cars high above the lake, and celebrating our 10th wedding anniversary at our very first Michelin-starred restaurant.
Life-changing pasta.
Along the way, we're discovering why northern Lake Garda feels completely different from what we've already experienced. Let's get tipsy, y'all.
In our last Lake Garda video, we explored the south and west shores with stops enjoying castles, local wines, beautiful views, and one very windy, epic drive. From there, we drove north to Riva del Garda and will be kicking off our time here with a visit to a winery.
Azienda Agricola Comai is a family-run winery that sits just outside of Riva and has been farming these hillsides for 4 generations. The vineyards sit among rocky soils shaped by glaciers, and while the lake helps moderate temperatures, the influence of the mountains is impossible to ignore. Here, the wines tend to be fresher and more mineral-driven than what most people expect from Lake Garda, and it's a completely different character from what we were drinking around the southern shore. So we did the classic tasting, which came with a tour. So we got to tour the vineyards a little bit, and then we went into the wine production area as well as the cellar. And then we sat down for the actual tasting, where we got to taste 4 different wines. So I think it was a rosé, a white,
and 2 reds.
All delicious wines, all completely different as well.
Yep, we had some cheese, we got to taste their olive oil, and they had the pâté d'olive. So yeah, we got to do some
olive paste, which is really good too.
So good. It was fresh bread, and the cheese was excellent. Guess what we got?
Not 1, but 2 bottles.
2 bottles. We got a white and a red. Yeah. The white is a Sauvignon Blanc Chardonnay blend, and it is absolutely perfect for hot.
Be great for summer
day. And the other one we got was the Rebo, which is the one that's exclusive to this area.
Which, unless you've spent time drinking wine in Trentino, there's a good chance that you have never heard of it. And don't feel bad, because we had not either. It was developed in 1948 by a Trentino geneticist named Rebo Rigotti, who crossed Merlot with Teroldego, the big indigenous red of the Trentino region. The variety was named after him, and it grows almost exclusively here.
It is super high in tannins. It's not an aperitivo wine. It has to get cut with some sort of juicy meat. It's going to be absolutely delightful.
Yeah.
So we're gonna head into town to grab another glass of wine.
Vino Riva is a small wine bar in the center of town run by a couple who clearly knows what they're doing. The selection at this wine bar leans heavily local. They'll pour you what they think you'll like if you ask, or they'll leave you alone if you just want to drink. So I decided to go with a glass of a local sparkling from the Lake region, and having just come from the wine tasting, this is delightful. It's an extra brut, which means it's going to be very dry in profile, not sweet. It is so good. I love it.
I did go with a local wine as well. This is the Teroldego. So coming from the wine tasting we were just at, we had the Rebo wine, which was the combination or the kind of mix of Merlot and Teroldego. So this is the Teroldego just on its own. Very good, perfect kind of aperitivo wine. I'll say about this place, like the vibes, I think, are what kind of are drawing us in. The staff is super nice, super helpful. Perfect evening.
After a lovely afternoon and day, we're going to call it quits tonight. So we will see you tomorrow. Good night. We just got off work and we're going to go catch a drink with a view, which requires a cable car. And let me tell you, this took some preparation. First, we used the internet to check the weather. Then we had to use Google Maps so we knew where we were going. And then we also had to check to make sure the bar was open so that we could get a drink. Our phones, probably like yours, do a lot of the heavy lifting when we travel. And one thing that's helped us out on this trip is aloSIM for mobile data. It's a free app where you can purchase and install an eSIM right to your phone. It means that we can navigate, look up things, and stay connected without constantly hunting for Wi-Fi. It works in over 200 destinations, so whether you're road tripping through wine country or hopping between cities, you're covered. Pick your destination, grab a prepaid data package, and you're connected the second you arrive. No roaming fees, no contracts, and plans start under $5 a week, depending on how much data you plan on using. It's one of those things you don't think about out until you're wandering a tiny town with no signal, trying to figure out where you're even going. Download the free app and use the code BOOZINGABROAD for 15% off. You can scan this QR code on the screen or click the link in the description below. Now, let's go find something that's worth sipping on. The Bastione is the fortress that sits on the cliff above the town that overlooks Riva del Garda and gives you, quite literally, a completely different perspective on the area. There's a panoramic funicular that takes you more than 200 meters above the town in about 3 minutes. Back in the 1950s, it was a chairlift that got you up the side of the mountain.
That would have been absolutely terrifying as a chairlift.
But that has been replaced with a much more modern and probably safer glass-walled cabin, and the views are genuinely ridiculous. The Bastione di Riva was built in the early 1500s by Venice shortly after they completed their conquest of Riva. And their reasoning was simple: control the high ground, protect the town below. But it didn't last. In 1703, during the War of the Spanish Succession, French troops destroyed the central body of the bastion and it was abandoned. It sat in various states of ruin for nearly 300 years before it was restored in the 2000s. This is so awesome.
It's very well preserved too. I don't know what it is about Lake Garda castles, but they are incredibly well preserved, very unique, and super, super neat.
Yeah, this one is sensational, and the view. I cannot wait to sit down and have a drink here because this place is fascinating and it's worth the 10 euros per person for the round trip ticket up. You can hike it, but
No, not today.
Yeah, absolutely not. So we're here for an aperitivo. We're gonna head down. We're gonna get a glass of something, unsure yet, and then we will continue on with a different aperitivo in town.
You know, history says that this place was used as a place of defense, but I think I'm calling baloney on that one. I think they just liked it for the good view because this is absolutely stunning. Not a Negroni, but a Boulevardier, so basically a Negroni, but with bourbon, so sorry.
Look at you branching out.
Yeah.
It's just worth it sometimes to get the drink with the view, with the castle. I thought that was great.
That was very affordable too.
Yeah, usually they're like pushing 20. This was not. But you know what? When you're on vacation and you're somewhere new, just drink the drink where you want to drink it. It doesn't really matter.
Back in town, we made our way to the lakefront and found a cozy seat at Moby. This bar has a fairly extensive cocktail list, and I tried their Rossini Spritz made with local bubbles and strawberries, and it was fantastic.
So for dinner, we popped into l'Albero, which was very good.
I ended up getting carpaccio, which was awesome. But when in doubt, pizza's always just a great thing. And our wine was delightful. We had 2 glasses of Merlot. It was 6 euros for the craft, so it ended up being 3 euros a glass. So we're gonna go home. We'll see you tomorrow.
The Rocca is impossible to miss as it's one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of Riva. It was built in the 12th century and changed hands many times. After the French came through in 1703 and partially destroyed it, it sat neglected until the Habsburgs took it over in the 1850s and converted it into a military barracks. And when Trentino transferred to Italy after World War I, the Rocca came with it. Today, it's home to the MAG, or the Museo Alto Garda. We aren't the biggest museum people, but the collection is probably better than you'd expect for a smaller regional museum.
Just went around the entire first floor and there was a whole room on maps from like the 1500s up through the 1700s. And that I absolutely loved. I love maps, very neat. And a lot of the landscapes were just absolutely gorgeous too.
There are Bronze Age artifacts recovered from prehistoric lake settlements, finds from the Stilt Village excavations at a nearby lake, and a gallery with 19th century paintings by artists who came here and just could not stop painting the view.
Every Italian town seems to have that one landmark that instantly becomes its symbol. In Riva del Garda, that's Torre Apponale, the clock tower that's been watching over the main piazza since the 13th century. The first written mention of the tower is from 1220, but in the 16th century, it was raised to its current height and even briefly served as the town's prison after it lost its military role. For only €2, you can climb the tower's 165 steps to the top, where you'll get a bird's eye view of the harbor below and more stunning views of Lake Garda and the surrounding mountains.
We caught a break in the weather, so I'm excited to climb. And even though it's still kind of cloudy, it's supposed to monsoon later today, we are doing it. Should we live here?
That was awesome. I really do enjoy climbing stuff. I thought that was absolutely worth the €2. If you think about all the different things that you can climb here, or I guess get to see from a viewpoint, you got to do the Bastione, which was awesome because bar. But this one, we could and
well worth it.
Yeah. We are heading home. We will see you tomorrow. Good morning. It is our 10th wedding anniversary today, and we are leaving Riva del Garda, which is depressing, but we're going somewhere equally as exciting, and we have big plans tonight for our anniversary. So we got about a 45-minute drive, potentially an hour with this traffic, down to where we're going next, and then we're gonna head out and have a wonderful celebratory evening, and we're bringing you along.
The Castello Scaligero di Malcesine sits right on the water on a rocky spur at the edge of town, and the site has been occupied since the 5th and 6th centuries. The current fortifications are from the 13th century, built by the Scaligeri, which shouldn't be a surprise as they controlled a significant chunk of this lake for a very long time.
You only 3 people will hold this.
This castle is absolutely amazing. It is a great view. It's a great castle. It's a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be, at least what we have access to, but it's still beautiful.
In 1902, the castle was declared a national monument, and today it houses a natural history museum and a room dedicated to Johann Wolfgang Goethe, which requires a small explanation. In September 1786, Goethe arrived in Malcesine and started sketching the castle from the lakeside. Then the locals, noticing a stranger making very detailed drawings of the fortifications, interrogated him on suspicion of being an Austrian spy. They even called in the local mayor before cooler heads prevailed and he avoided arrest. Goethe wrote about the incident in his Italian Journey, one of the most famous travel memoirs in German literature. The sketches he made of the lake and the castle are now displayed in the Goethe room inside, and interestingly, his observations about the quality of light and color on the water here eventually contributed to his theory of colors. So he came here simply to sketch the castle, but ended up getting interrogated on suspicion of being a spy and accidentally advanced his scientific thinking.
Okay, you guys, this is it. Our very first Michelin star dinner ever.
And I think we've set the bar appropriately high because tonight is also our 10th wedding anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Our plan going in is to do one of the tasting menus that's paired with a wine
I think it's
menu.
3 wines.
Yeah. It'll be interesting, but we'll keep you guys posted. Obviously, we kind of want to be in the moment, so we will tell you as much as we can afterwards.
Above the historic center with a garden of olive trees and views over the water sits Vecchia Malcesine. Chef Leonardo Lupi has held 1 Michelin star here continuously since 2004. He opened in 1998, and from the start, his whole philosophy came down to one thing: Lake Garda fish. The stuff upscale Italian cuisine had basically ignored. There's freshwater fish from the lake, wild herbs gathered from the slopes of Monte Baldo right above town, and olive oil from this exact stretch of lake. So every element on this plate is meant to tell you exactly where you are.
Life-changing.
That was quite life-changing, yeah. Beyond full.
We've been ruined from pasta.
That one I'm still thinking. That was like the middle of the meal, like course number 4, I think, and I'm still thinking about that one.
It's amazing. This pasta is life-changing. Wow. Life-changing pasta.
We will be thinking about that for another 10 years. because that was fantastic.
Yeah, we need a long walk if you catch our drift.
Let us digest the meal. Let us really get our thoughts together. And we will catch you guys tomorrow waking up early because we're idiots. All right. See you then. Good night. Good morning. A little pro tip. Don't go do a 10-course tasting menu and then plan on waking up the next morning to do a hike. It's just not feeling great. In our defense, we had never done one before, so we didn't really know what to expect, and now we know, and now we feel stupid. So, well, we're gonna go get in line to take the cable car up the mountain today. We're the first ones here. We got here at 7:30 on a Friday. We went ahead and booked the 8:15 slot, which you can book online. It's the first cable car up to the mountain. The reason that we got here so early is because what we had read was that even if you had the 8:15 ticket, you were going to be waiting. They didn't really honor it.
And just to clarify, so there are two different ways that you can buy tickets. So one online or two here at the ticket office. Now, as Sam said, buying online doesn't necessarily grant you separate access to your defined boarding time. Once you get inside, you still have to wait in kind of the regular line. What it does give you is the ability to bypass the ticket line. So if there are a bunch of people waiting in the ticket line to buy them here, you get to bypass that and go into the separate entrance. But once you get inside, you're still gonna be waiting with everybody else. The cable car that runs from Malcesine up to Monte Baldo is one of the more memorable things that you can do on this lake. The original cable car opened in 1962, but was replaced in 2002 with cabins that rotate 360 degrees as they ascend. So by the time you reach the top, you've seen every angle of the lake and the mountain.
Switching to number 2. Oh my goodness, you are just too cute. Made it. Yay! This is absolutely gorgeous. So where Lake Garda sits at the base of pre-Alps. The hike that we picked out's a little over 9 miles, but wow. If this is the pre-Alps, I can't imagine what the Alps actually look like. Oh my God.
Good morning, sweet cows. How's everyone doing?
So if you happen to be new here and wondering why we're hiking, well, Chris and I used to live in an RV, and we used to drive the RV all over the US and Canada, and we would go places to go hiking, and then we would find local distilleries, wineries, breweries, whatever it was, cocktail bars. So that was kind of how we started this. We started just traveling and drinking and hiking. Drop us a comment below. Let us know if you guys like this type of stuff, because we absolutely love hiking and taking you with us. This particular hike, you have to descend to go back up. Having not hiked in quite some time, my knees do not like this very much. And we're not even on to the mile 2 yet. Chris is like way down there. Boy, there he is. Just leaving me all up here. Happy anniversary, honey. Oh, hey. We came from up there and we're going over there. Stopped at our first cafe on the hike. This is great. I wish every hike had cafes, but this is beautiful. So this part of the hike, now that we're all the way down, we're gonna start the ascent.
In this part of the hike, we are leaving the Veneto region and walking by foot to Trentino Alto Adige. Monte Baldo itself rises to about 2,200 meters and has long been called the Garden of Europe for its exceptional botanical diversity. Hundreds of plant species, a significant number of them native to this mountain specifically, grow up here because of the unusual combination of alpine altitude and the lake's thermal influence below.
We were over there. I think we can stop now. We still have a mile to go to get up here, but this is incredible. So this is the pre-Alps, not even the Alps. This is Riva del Garda right here. So that's where that is over here. The epic drive that we did is in here somewhere, over there. And then the southern side of the lake is down there. This is just incredible. The snow-capped mountains, I can't believe it. Anything you want to say?
I got no words.
you see it on Instagram, it's usually with epic moments. I'm not paying for the music rights for that. Every time we turn a corner, all I can think of, here is a poor rendition of it. The angels up in the clouds, we're jealous, no one we found, something so wow. Every time. Anyone else do that? Is it just me? Things I was not expecting was a church up here. It was colder up here, but you can actually like see your breath. That's how cold it is. We didn't realize it. We were like, we could see it. We're like, oh my God. So yeah, if you do this hike, make sure that you bring a long sleeve because we're here in middle of June and it's cold up here, which obviously you're on a mountain. So yeah. Was this hard? Yes. Totally worth it though. Totally. What you drinking there?
Usually we do post-hike beers, but this area is known for lemons, so we found this lemon spritz at the grocery store the other day. It's not cold. It says to drink with ice, but after 5.5 miles, my watch says it's going to taste good. Cheers. And very good. 8%er.
Oh God.
So lemonade. It'll be a fun walk down.
And that concludes our time here in the Lake Garda area. And if you're asking yourself if you should be adding this to your bucket list,
There you go. What do you think? Yes, indeed.
This entire lake region offered so many different things from history and castles and wines and views and great food. Definitely recommend it.
We highly recommend making a whole loop around the lake. All the different towns were so unique and charming in their own ways.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next video. We'll see you then.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.